Before the 90 days, where love is online, the math is never mathing, and common sense missed the flight. I'm recapping the nonsense, the scams, and the audacity. You're watching Kinda Unhinged. What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I'm back with another Before the 90 Days video, and we are on season 8, episode 10. And we begin this episode with Emma and Zied heading to the desert so that they can celebrate Emma's 28th birthday. And on the last episode, we learned that Emma and Zied finally slept with each other. And the producers asked Zied why he woke up in such a good mood. And he was like, I just feel like I'm in love with Emma. And, he's smiling and all that, but he never says that they slept together because obviously it's against his religion and he can't really say that. So when they arrive, she finds out that they have 2 separate rooms and she's like, that's weird. After we've already slept together, we're still going to stay in different rooms. And she just doesn't get it. He did that because he didn't think anybody would find out. So obviously he has to keep up appearances. I mean, this goes over her head for whatever reason. So while they're out riding the camels, he tells her that he has a big surprise for her. And she's starting to think, oh, maybe he's gonna propose. Then we see Forrest telling his mom that he's happy that Sheena has finally told the truth and they can move on. And his mom is like, are you kidding me? Like, you want to move on with her? Like, you really think you can trust her after she told lies about her family? And he's like, yeah, you heard her pour her heart out to everybody. Everything's gonna change now. And she's gonna save up her money. She's not gonna give her parents money anymore. And we're gonna get married and ride off into the sunset. Then we see a scene, of course, with Sheena and her dad, and he confronts her about her lying. And she's like, I lied because I didn't want to lose Forrest. And every time she says that, it just trips me out. It's like, you don't want to lose broke, unemployed Forrest. Ma'am, where is he going? He's not going anywhere. But I digress. So she says, I didn't want to lose him, and he doesn't understand that in our culture, we help our families out. And he wanted me to save money, and he didn't understand why I kept giving the money. So I just told him that you guys made me give you the money. And her dad was like, well, if he really loves you, then he would respect your culture and he would try to understand. And she says, well, I do want to keep giving you guys money because that's a part of our culture and that's something that I want to do. And her dad says, well, you need to be clear with Forrest that that's what you're going to do so that he knows what he's getting himself into before you guys actually get married. Then we catch up with Beer Khan and Laura, and they are on their romantic getaway. But Laura says that his gambling addiction is really putting a damper on this getaway. And Beer Khan tells Laura that he loves her, but he doesn't want her to try to change him. And she's like, I don't think I've tried to change you. And he was like, well, you know what? Because I love you so much and I know that you don't like the gambling, I'm going to try my hardest not to gamble anymore. Then he takes her on this romantic boat ride and she almost forgets about everything about the gambling. And she's so in love with him and she's like, this must have been so expensive. How'd you pay for it? And he was like, gambling. Then he tells her how happy she has made him and how much better his life is with her in it. Because after he got injured, about a month later, his girlfriend dumped him over text while he was still in the hospital. And he was like at a low point in his life. And then he met Laura and he feels like she gives him something to live for. Then we catch up with Lisa and Daniel, and Lisa is upset that Daniel lied about the other woman that he was talking to online to his friends. And she confronts him about it, and he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And she shows him a picture of the woman, and he's like, I've never seen her before in my life. And Lisa gets so mad, and he's like, well, do you have proof that I was talking to her? And she was like, well, I had screenshots, but I don't have them anymore. I deleted them. And she was like, I'm going to reach out to this woman and get the proof. And he was like, yeah, go ahead. And this upsets her so much she storms off. So when the lady does eventually reach back out to Lisa, she says that she no longer has the screenshots either, but she didn't make it up. He was talking to her, and if Lisa marries him, then she's crazy. So when Daniel comes up to the room, he's like, are you still upset? And she's like, yeah. And he was like, well, show me the woman's profile picture again. And she shows it to him, and he's like, I don't know who that is. And then she shows him another picture. She was like, this used to be her old profile picture. And he was like, oh, yeah, I know that lady. I talked to her before I met you. And she was like, then why did you try to act like you didn't know her? He's like, no, it's your fault. You showed me the wrong picture. He's like, yeah, I talked to her, but I broke that off with her after I met you. And obviously, Daniel is playing games here. He got caught in a lie. He should have just been honest instead of trying to pretend, oh, I don't know who you're talking about. Like, that was never going to work. That was dumb. So, Javon and Anna Lynn come back from their honeymoon and they go to Anna Lynn's place. And when they get there, Javon is surprised to see how nice she's living. He says that he sends her about $600 a month. And he said her place was way bigger than he thought it was. And as he's walking in there, he's looking at everything and he's like, wow, this is so spacious. Then he's looking at her pictures. She's got all these travel pictures. She's got all these clothes. And he said all he can see is dollar signs. He said that he's living in a smaller house than what she lives in. And he has 3 roommates. He's like, she needs to downgrade how she's living just a little bit because he's feeling like she's taking advantage of him. And it is kind of crazy to think that he's living with 3 roommates while she's taking vacations and living in this nice home by herself on his dime. Then we catch up with Stig and Aviva, and he's still upset with her about texting during his performance. But he takes her to the beach and he asks her again about who she was texting. And she was like, well, I was texting my friend, and I only did that because I felt uncomfortable. And he was like, was it a guy? And she's like, no, it was a girl. And this raised a red flag for Aviva because she's like, why would he automatically think I'm texting a guy when he's the one that was on the stage dancing with the girl? I'm the one that should be jealous, not him. Then he apologized to her for overreacting. And she says that she thinks that they're both just having trust issues and they need to work through it. And he said, yeah, you're right. And since we are working through things right now, then maybe we should stop having unprotected sex because we're not sure about each other yet. And this hurts Aviva's feelings because she's like, I mean, this was just one little incident and he's ready to pull back. And once again, it's raising more red flags to her. Like, why is he having second thoughts about things? And it makes her feel like he's hiding something from her. So then Zied takes Emma to dinner for her birthday, and he's acting really weird at the dinner. Like, he won't eat anything. He keeps saying he's cold. And Emma's wondering if he's so nervous because he's going to propose. And I'll be honest, that's exactly how it looked because he was acting fidgety and he was acting very nervous. But toward the end of dinner, he tells her that he has one more surprise for her. And she's thinking it's going to be a proposal. But then the people bring out a cake. And the cake is the surprise. And you can see the disappointment in her face. And Zied can see it as well. And he's like, I know she was expecting a proposal, but I don't think we're ready. So before Sheena and Forrest and his family leave her family's house, they're having one last conversation. And Sheena's dad tells Forrest that because he's the foreigner and he wants to marry her daughter, he's the one that really should be paying for things, not Sheena. And Forrest is like, well, I intend to start paying for things. And he says that him and Sheena are going to get a shared account and they're going to both put money into the account. And her dad was like, hold up, you guys aren't married yet. That's something you do when you're married. She doesn't need to put her money in your account. And Sheena was like, well, if it'll make you feel better, I can take screenshots weekly of my account and send it to you so you can see how much I have in there. And Forrest agrees to that. And his mom is a little bit skeptical about it because she feels like Sheena's trying to hide something again. So then we see Aviva and Stig meet up with Aviva's aunt who has just arrived in Belize, and she's at her niece's restaurant. And she asks Stig how serious he is about Aviva, and he said he's very serious about her. And then the aunt says, well, you know, I've got some questions that I want to ask you in private, just you and I. And he was like, okay. So they go off and they talk. And we're left on a cliffhanger with that. She shows him something and she's like, that's you, isn't it? And he like makes a reaction. So I guess we'll find out in the next episode what picture she showed him. So we end this episode with Emma and Zied. And it's the next day after her birthday, and he apologizes for how he was acting the night before, and he says that he was just really cold. And she was like, yeah, I mean, it was a nice birthday, but I was expecting more. And he was like, you were expecting more? What were you expecting? And she said, I was expecting a proposal. And he said, I don't think we're ready for a proposal yet. And he said, there's some things about you that I feel like you're not being honest with me about. He's like, you remember when you ghosted me that time? I want to know what happened. And she goes ahead and tells him the truth about Mohammed. And obviously this raises red flags for Zied, and that's where the episode ended. So you guys let me know what y'all thought about this episode in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want more 90 Day Fiancé content, then go ahead and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.